Morning, darlings. How y'all this morning? I'm up, got my coffee, sitting at the table. Just got done reading my scripture and sitting there thinking. I was watching the show the other night. I don't know if y'all watch this, called Seven Little Johnstons, but there's a young man on there who's talking about getting married, and he's in high school. He's a senior, and he's planning on getting married. And people are like, oh, well, he hasn't even had a job and this and that, and he ain't lived and he ain't been out in the world. Well, in a lot of ways, that's right. I got married young, and me and my husband probably wouldn't have got married as quick, but with him going to the military and everything that happened in our lives at the time, we had to get married when we did. And in a lot of ways, I wished we'd took more time and got college done and did all the things that young people should do, or if you don't go to college, establish a career. Not everybody has to go to college, because nowadays you can go be a welder if you're physically capable and make a lot of money. But my husband went in the military, and he was leaving, and legally for us to be together at the time, it was different back then than things are now. They weren't accepting if you weren't married, and that kind of thing like more now. So, but the young man's talking about getting married, and I think that's great if he has a long engagement, because a lot of times the people you meet in high school are the ones that your marriages work out great with. You know them well. You spend a lot of time together. Usually your families might know each other, whatever the situation is. But I think it's great. Now, I don't think you should jump and get married tomorrow right out of high school. I think you should try to live where he's living, or I think the young lady he's talking to lives in a different state, because they're little people, and that's what the show's about, Seven Little Johnstons, and I think it's an interesting show. I hate the family drama going on with Anna. I don't know if y'all watch it, but I hate that. But that's a different topic. But my point being, young people, take it from an old woman who married the love of her life and was happily married until the day God took him from me. Of course, we had our ups and downs. Don't get me wrong. We had a lot of those. But my advice to young people, if you know each other in high school and you want to get married, stay single until you can get your job settled, get the support of your family, figure out a plan, then do whatever, then get married if you can. And if you can't, everybody has their own situation, and it might not work out for him, and it might. Mine and my husband had to rush our marriage sooner than we wanted to because of situations, and we lived happily ever after until, of course, God took him away from me, and health issues plagued us, and we had other issues, especially when we got married, financial issues, because we had no idea about money and didn't have any back in the day, and didn't have the knowledge that you have at your fingertips today to learn about it. We didn't come from wealthy families and didn't know anybody that had any money. But so that was always our biggest issue, was just money, trying to survive and working all the time and stuff. But that's another video for a different day. But I think meeting someone in high school or in college and falling in love, and that's true love, and everything's great. Now, I'm not saying people shouldn't go out and date, and people who get married later in life too have a great chance of doing good. But people on Reddit and different places, or I don't know if I'm supposed to say that on here, but on different social media sites, were giving him a hard time about he's too young, he's never even had a job. Well, I think he should get a job. I think most kids should get a job in high school, but today's different. But I think they should get a job and have a little spending money. My boys did. They had to get jobs, and me and their daddy provided for them, but they had to have jobs in high school for some spending money, you know what I'm saying? But my point being, leave the young man alone. But if he met the right person, especially in the little people world, because they get together at these conventions and they only get to see each other once in a while. So it's a harder situation if you're looking to marry someone else in the little people community. I know the one of the daughters on the show married her high school boyfriend. Again, she met him in high school and they seem happy, but I don't know them personally. I'm just using that as an example. But young people, I think you should date to marry. Get to know people and intention to marry if you want to get married. If you don't, that's fine too. But don't jump in too quick. Make sure you know what you're getting into, and make sure you know when you do get married, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of give and take, and people change. Life things change. People evolve. I mean, my husband, because of health reasons, he was two different people in 41 years. But that's because he had a double stroke. And that really affected him mentally and physically. Just like I'm sure with my health issues, as I got older, it affected me mentally and physically. But if you love someone, you work it out. So my advice to anybody that's young and in love, try to date to marry, get to know each other, pray about it, get some counseling if possible. They got this pre-marriage counseling that you can go to, probably through your church. I don't know about everybody, but if you can do that, do that. But don't jump in anything too soon. Think real hard about it. But if you meet the love of your life when you're 13 or 14 or 15 and you get married out of high school, that's not that big a deal to me. At least it wasn't in the old days. But again, this is just my opinion. Take it or leave it. My opinion don't matter to nobody but me. And like I always said, opinions like rear ends. Everyone's got one and nobody wants to smell it. But just my opinion. Take it or leave it. Well, God bless y'all now. You're here and y'all have a great day.